Another month, and this time we have some amazing asset packs. Actually, usually I'm not so stoked about these, but this time, well, these are really cool. So let's dive straight into those. The first one is the action RPG starter system, which I wouldn't call a starter system because this thing is basically like a full-on game. You just swap things with your own models and you have yourself a game. So let's hit play. And basically this reminds me of some MMORPG like Mu Online, Cabal, bunch of them out there. You can just run around, collect items. You have an inventory, which is a jigsaw type of inventory, which allows single-handed and two-handed weapons. You can smack things around, so we can attack this guy right here. And this thing comes with a lot of other things like armors. We can go ahead and use those. An armor piece. We have a, what is this, belt, so that might go over here. We have some boots, we have capes, all kinds of things available to us. So let's run forward. So we have some guards, so we have some AIs that we can attack. So those are just our guards. They were not aggressive towards me until I attacked them, and then they became aggressive. Now you have lootable containers with all kinds of goods in them. We have some skill trees, so under the key K we have a bunch of skill tree options, adding strength, adding health, adding all kinds of goodies. Let's go forward. We have crafting. We have a guide that allows us to craft armor, weapons. You need materials in order to craft these equipment pieces. We have obviously coins. We have gold, silver, and bronze, so 3 options for coins. And then there's a bunch of vendors for jewelry, consumables, weaponry, armory. And then we have a bunch of interactables. So there's 2 options. We can either go up to it and interact with it and it's going to give us something, or we need to damage the thing and then it breaks and it gives us the loot. Also they have added some slow debuff zones, so obviously I think you could easily add like the opposite effect for this. We also have a thing that asks us to hold to interact. So we can hold, interact, and then it's going to give us something. And then we have this fire zone, which slows us down and deals damage to us, like so. Now over here we have a bunch of other AIs. We also have a companion, like you see. So if we get attacked, our companion goes down and hunts the enemy that has attacked us. They have ranged enemies, close range enemies, all kinds of enemies like that. There we go. And also, let me see if I didn't forget anything that's super important here. Load and save. So we can open the menu, we can save the game, load the game. We have a bunch of settings, some settings for the visuals, for the audios, key bindings, all the good stuff. And let's kill the robot. And let's go fight the boss. So here is the boss room. What happened? Here we go. So we walk in, we have the boss health underneath us, and well, we are getting attacked by the big guy. I don't know if we're going to be able to take him, because we haven't really upgraded anything. And he got stunned, so maybe we can win the fight because we have an amazing sword. And there we go, we killed the enemy. He gave us a loot, and a bunch of these weapons have like a random chance of having different stats. So here we have 2 the same swords, but if we look at the stats, the one that the boss dropped is actually way better than the one that we have. It has lower lifesteal, but it has more crit chance, more base damage, so all kinds of stats like that. Now, to add more items to this doesn't seem too difficult. So basically you have your base weapon, right? So let's go ahead and let's browse to this asset. So here are the weapons, and also under the pickups folder you have like the armor, jewelry, crafting, all the other stuff. So let's grab the sword, and every single pickup, I believe, not just these ones, I think every single one of these pickups have a pickup component. So we can browse to that. So that one is under the inventory system jigsaw pickup system. Here is the main pickup class, and it has the pickup component. And inside of this pickup component basically lives all the data about the item itself and a bunch of functions, which are actually, all of them are very small. So it should be pretty easy to get around in these because it doesn't look like there's a lot of code in them. Some of them look a bit odd, but other than that, most of these are very small functions and should be very easy to find your way around these. And then if we want to add more items, we want to go to, so we want to select the pickup component, and every single item has a data source. And if we would look where it is, here we have our items. So we have our craftable database, armor database, weapon database, jewelry, and etc. So if we pop open the weapons one, here is all the information that should be added for the weapons. So you just add a new entry, fill out the information about the weapon, its name, meshes, textures, all that good stuff, the icons, all of that stuff. And then just simply, once you go ahead and add that, you can go ahead and duplicate your weapon, add it into the level, and just by default swap out the weapon's name from the database. Now the next pack is the defect props volume 1, which comes with a bunch of different props like carton boxes, cardboard boxes, some cones, some canisters, gas canisters, gasoline, petrol canisters, all kinds of barrels, pallets, boxes, all kinds of stuff like that. And what I really enjoyed about this pack is that most of these assets right here, you are actually able to change their base color a little bit. For example, we have these tires over here. So this one's yellow right now because I actually changed its color. So what you can do is go ahead and locate its material instance. You can either just copy this and create another one, or you can go straight into this one and edit this. So under here we have the colorize section where we can actually pick any color we want, and it's going to get applied to that model, which is really, really cool. And we can do that for a lot of these other assets as well. For example, we have this barrel. We can look up the material instance of this barrel and change the color of it like so. Now you can also disable this property and it's going to give its default color, or you can just basically color the barrels whatever color you want. You can also edit some of the colors for the boxes. So if we grab this one and change this, you can see this box, you are able to color this one as well, but not all of them. For some it was just the hinges, for some it was the entire thing. So you will have to go through these and look what's actually going on with these, but for the most part this is really, really cool and very simple to edit. Like you see, I can basically change the color for the most of these models. There are some that doesn't change the color, like this one didn't change. It doesn't, that property doesn't seem to work for this guy. So you can see I have it enabled, but it doesn't really change anything. Maybe I can't find the area where it does change something, but other than that, well, the majority of these models you can edit, which is really cool because then you can stylize these to your environment. Now, for the most part, all of these assets are separated, but there are some that are like in groups. And one thing that I really enjoyed was the folder structure for this asset pack, which makes life a lot easier when it comes to locating things. So they have the blueprints for the openable military crates. And then they have geometry folder where again you have nice folders like boxes, crates, military crates, barrels, wheels and tires, and just open those up and then you have them nicely organized. So it's very easy to find things inside of these folders. And like I said, you have individual tires, and then you also have a bunch of different groups of tires available as well. Let's dive into the next pack, which is the Endless Runner Shooter pack. Now, once you open the map, isn't going to be really anything in it, and based on which template you are on, you might have to make some changes. This one is a top-down template, so I had to change a couple of things. I think you will have to make the same changes in the third person as well, because if we go to the world settings and we locate the default pawn, which is this guy right here, and I think we actually need the pawn, the master pawn itself. This, I believe, is the child class. So in the master, there it is. Yeah. So in this one, instead of using the input axis move forward, they are using the move up axis. I believe that might be default for the side scroller template. Maybe I'm wrong. I never really used those, so I'm not sure. But I do know that this thing gave me an error and I wasn't allowed to use those keys because, well, my action mapping was wrong. But simply just by changing to this one, everything worked out just fine. And also make sure you're playing it in a single player, so standalone. Otherwise, well, you're going to get some errors and it's not going to function properly because this is made for single player. So if we hit play, we have this template over here. We can run left to right, dodge the objects, we can slide, we can jump. We have a gun, and we have a bunch of coins that we can collect, and eventually once we reach a certain point in the level, this is going to change into shooter. So there we go, we're about to hit that location, and oh my god, that was loud. There we go. So we shot a bunch of enemies and we continue with the runner template. Now, I'm not like a very huge fan of these type of games in general, and also I don't like on this one that it's like free motion, so it doesn't snap like usually it does like on Subway Surfer and all those other ones, but maybe, well, this one would be like the next level type of a thing. But one thing that is really cool about this pack is that it does have a pretty decent documentation. So if you go to their page on the marketplace and you scroll down a bit, you have a documentation link which you can go ahead and pop open, and here you have a bunch of information. You have a sample project available to you as well, a template video, trailer video, Discord, they have their own Discord, Facebook, all that stuff. And here underneath you can read a bunch of things, how you can add your own tiles, how to add your own enemies, power-ups, all kinds of things like that are available over here. And it also explains you what kind of animations you need and where you should change those and all that good stuff. Now the next pack is the modular Lost Ruin kit, which comes with, like it says, it's a modular kit for ruins, and they do look really good. Now these models right here come with like, there's like the base structure, so the rock pieces, and also they come with a foliage on top of them, and the foliage is moving around, and this looks like a really old, left alone, abandoned ruin, which looks really good. And obviously, like it says, it's a modular kit, so you can go ahead and modify this, move the pieces around, and create your own ruins. Also, it comes with a bunch of foliage available as well. It comes with a material which has grass already like painted on the material itself, and also the grass material itself comes with the procedural grass as well. And of course, well, you can paint your own foliage on top of it as well. So this is really nice. Now there's a bunch of trees as well, and here is the folders for it. So there's a couple of blueprints for the water, for the torch. There's a couple of effects like the local fog and the torch fire. And the torch fire actually is really nice looking as well. So this whole thing is pretty realistic. And as you can see, this fire looks pretty good, pretty realistic. Now unfortunately this is the regular particle system, so this is not the Niagara, but well, this one will do as well. Now other than that, we have models again, very nicely organized. This is what I like. I usually hate it when there's a like when you have texture, material and the model in the same folder, rather than being like so that you have 3 separate folders for the textures, materials, and then you have models. And this way it is way easier for yourself to just locate these models and use them, and you don't have to open up hundreds of folders. Technically you could add a filter, but well, it's easier when basically you don't have to do that. And let's real quick go to the showcase map just to have a quick look at all of these models, because there's a bunch of them. We have some base structures for the hills. Now these are, a couple of them are one-sided like they should be, because well, you're not really supposed to look inside. And then you have a bunch of rocks like this that come, like I said, with already an added foliage on them. This one's a bit of a weird one. So you have one with the foliage, one without the foliage, and I believe it comes like that for just about all of them. So I believe this guy and this guy are the same. The difference is that one has foliage, the other one doesn't. And then also you have a bunch of ruin pieces over here which have the same logic applied to them. So you have a piece with the foliage and you have a piece without the foliage, so you can go ahead and decide for yourself which option will work the best for you. Now also there's a bunch of little props like boxes, again with foliage, without. You have a bunch of barrels, broken barrels, a small cannon, some coins, some vases, plate, individual coins as well, all kinds of things like this, a bunch of rocks, grasses, sticks, branches, trees, bushes, rocks. And yeah, all of this is modular and it is pretty low poly from what I noticed, so there's not a lot of vertices in these, and usually the most of the vertices you can find inside of the foliage itself. So if you have a look at that one, you can see that this is majority of these are below 1000, and it looks like could be that all of them, well, majority of them are below 1000. There's not a lot of them above that, which is always nice to see. Now let's dive into the last one that we have over here. I think this is definitely my favorite one out of all of these packs that we have here available for this month. And I saved this for last because I think this is the best thing, because this thing will basically save you a lot of time if you need all kinds of shiny and cool looking materials like these ones, because this is basically like a material library. So basically they just simply give you material functions that are very easy to then apply to your own textures and to your own meshes. So for example, we have a Fresnel that's pulsating. We have just the Fresnel itself without the pulsating. We have edge fades. We have more edge fades. We have emissives, more different emissives. We have positioning, the dissolve. So based on the distance, the things will slowly dissolve. So you can see over there as well how the things are dissolving. And then we have partial dissolving, so you can basically set up a value how far it should be dissolved. And then we have the world position, not exactly sure what this does. World position, oh, it offsets the textures, it looks like. And then we have more of that. We have some wind effects, so like in the desert or something. We have even more, so you can apply the direction, the strength of it. Scan lines, more scanning lines, and all kinds of goodies over here. And all of these are very easy to implement. So let me just quickly show you how that gets done. So let's grab a sphere. Let's have a sphere over here. Let's grab some started contents materials. So let's say we want to use the walnut wood, so we're going to apply that one. And what I'm going to do is, just so that I don't mess with the original material, I'm just going to copy and paste this to create a duplicate. And where is it? Oh, there it is. So we have a material, so that can be any type of material that you might have. So just a random material. And this asset pack comes with a bunch of material functions. So if we would go to the materials, open up the functions, here we can choose all the effects that we have. So like the wind, the Fresnels, the emissives, dissolves, all that stuff. Now this material right here doesn't have the opacity, and I don't want to necessarily enable it right now, but well, you will understand how basically to apply any of these materials by simply me just showing you the Fresnel. So let's grab this one. And as you can see, this guy comes with a single output called emissive. So we just grab this emissive and plug it into the emissive color, like so. Now we can go ahead and save that. And now let's locate our newly created material, which is this guy right here. Let's apply this. And as you can see, the Fresnel is in action. Now we can go ahead and then right click this and create material instances out of this, so that we can modify the colors a bit easily, and so that we can have multiple colors basically for the same material. So let's apply the material instance on the model, and we can edit a bunch of things. So we can change the Fresnel, we can change the this one needs to be enabled so that it gives us the color, so we can enable the color. And then let's wait for the material to recompile, and this will allow us to change the outline color to whatever we want. So let's say we want this to be green, we want to apply the multiply, and once we do that, you can see the thing starts to pulsate. So that's what it's going to do. And then it has a bunch of other options as well available. And all of these are basically the same idea when it comes to applying these. So let's say we want to grab another function. So we have some scan lines, for example. We can go ahead and grab those. Let's connect this in the middle, apply to the emissive, save this so that it gets recompiled. And as you can see, now it has a scan line getting created around it based on the Fresnel, so it's not really appearing in the middle. But well, it does have the scan line as well, and there's a bunch of other things that you can apply as well. A different type of pulsating settings so that you can actually be more in depth when it comes to configuring the pulsating. We have the wave effect, and then we have emissive. Now which one was it? Dissolve. So we can grab dissolve, and for this one this is a little bit more different. So we grab the emissive, and also we would grab the dissolve opacity as well, so that the object could dissolve as well. And then, well, it also will output us the value, how far into the dissolving effect it is right now. So very cool pack. It saves a lot of time. It speeds up the development process, which is always something that we all want. And if you have ever spoken to me about these marketplace assets and all this stuff, I'm usually not like a big fan of these things, but this pack is really cool because it does exactly what you want it to do. It is going to go ahead and speed up the development process, which is always very nice. So that's going to be it for this month's asset pack. Go ahead and grab these while these are still free. It would be silly not to grab these because, well, there's a lot that we can use, learn from, and yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you for watching, and I see you in the next one.